Hello, this is Ronald Clanton with US Computer Support. This demonstration is Oracle VirtualBox, how to download it, some of the interactive features. So I've typed in Oracle VirtualBox. It came up with the Windows 11, so I just chose that. Let's go make sure that we're on the official Oracle VirtualBox. Now we go take a look, Oracle VirtualBox. Let's go take a look, make sure that we are secure. We can go through there. But with the HTTPS, we already were able to identify that. Our VirtualBox based packages, go through. Now, what we're looking for is what kind of system are we using? Now, this DMG, this would be something for an Apple. Solaris is something that are some of the more commercialized small businesses or large businesses, I should say, utilize that. We are looking for the Windows installer and identify that we are using Windows 64. Go into your system, type in the word about, and about this PC comes up. Let's take a look. 64-bit operating system. So we take a look. We have that in there. Let's get out of there. Let's go back to where we go. Let's go ahead and download Oracle VirtualBox. Now, my install is going. Let's open the file. User account control. The install is going. Next. Next. The Oracle VirtualBox Python bindings requires the Python core package and Win32. Now, when you have Windows 32, whenever you see that in command line or in most things, even though you're running a 64-bit package, Windows 32 lets you know that you're into the core system. The core system for Windows computers is Win32, even though you're running 64-bit, which gives you the ability to do more. Python is utilized throughout all types of things that we use for technology. Did you know that the number one programming language for artificial intelligence is Python? So by taking the time to learn that, it gets you ahead of a lot of people. We look at our choices here. Please choose from the following options. All right. Register file associations. We hit next. Our installation. And I better make sure that my antivirus isn't going to take out anything either. Let's go. Registry. Remember, the registry files are like the organs of the computer's Windows computer system. So think about the organs inside of your body. Think how vital the organs are. That is how the registry is. So when you go to registry edit and go into there, you have to be extremely careful of what you're doing. There will be demonstrations on the registry. All right, let's take a look. Let's start Oracle VirtualBox 7.0.22 after installation. Yes. As we go, that's the Oracle symbol. Now, let's look at Oracle VirtualBox. Before we proceed more, let's take a look here. File system, preference, endpoint appliance. So you can have hardware that connects to the virtual system to have it work there. And it's sort of like a hybrid connection. Export the appliance, tools, extension, virtual media, network manager. Now, remember that your device has a NIC. That's how you connect to the internet. What you will be able to do with VirtualBox is connect, use your physical NIC to create a virtual NIC. Everything is about virtualization. If you're stuck on hardware, then you are 20 years back in the past and things are going to get more and more difficult with you. In virtualization, anything, pretty much anything that you need, you just make it. You want a computer, just make a computer. You only need one physical device that's able to provide virtualization, and you can make devices. This laptop that I have here, I can probably make about 30 different computers. I can go make all these devices, and if someone connects in, they'll think that those are physical devices, but you can go and make anything you want. With that being said, let's look at the network manager, and it will connect the NIC. So the network connection is going through the physical NIC, but it creates a virtual NIC that has its own virtual MAC address, that has its own virtual IP address, and everything else. Everything can be presented like that. If you ever saw the movie The Matrix and you go through, most people are, fascinated by the special effects in there, but the message and how that helped a lot of IT people really elevate in their careers was because of the understanding and getting past the Stone Age part of this is physical, let me plug this in, let me plug that in. I can go make two computers and then I can make a virtual switch and I can connect both those virtual computers to that virtual switch and do the computing. As long as you have the resources, you can build whatever you want. We have our cloud profile manager, which will be using virtualization as US computer support will be establishing its own data center and providing cloud support. We'll have our own and providing the cloud. And when you're providing the cloud, it's always important to use virtualization as the attacks that are going in. And you can have things set up as layers, defense and depth, layers of defense, and the virtual set. You can copy all of the code, put it in something else, a virtual setting, and have it there. If something becomes compromised or happens with that, doesn't matter. You just delete it. As I'm going to show you, I'm going to download some operating systems, then I'll put them on there, and you can just delete them if you want. Now, one of the most important things in IT is always to check for updates. So let's go and check. Nothing to update. That is awesome. Let's get out of there. The machine, new, add, help. We take a look, VirtualBox sites. Now, let's get out of here because we need an operating system, right? So let's go find an operating system by going to uscomputer.support, uscomputer.support, student logins. So we'll go click on US Computer Support, right? Now, as we bring up the website and we take a look, let's go to the home page. And guess what? Once we pass everything, there's a button that says operating systems. Who would figure? Linux operating systems. In this case, let's get a Microsoft operating system. But you know what? I do love some Linux Mint. And let's take a look at that. Linux Mint is great. Go to the Linux site, take a look, download Linux. There's Mint. Linux Mint. I love and running operating systems and doing things on there. As you learn about Active Directory, right, which is something you pay for with Windows Server, did you know that you can do those operations, a lot of those same operations for free with Linux? Remember, Linux is an open source systems. Installation, we go through here. I've done this a million times. If I didn't say a million times. So Cinnamon Edition. Linux is a distro. Linux is Linux distro. So the most popular version of Linux Mint is the Cinnamon editions. Linux has so many distributions. Like Windows has operating systems, Linux has distros. Let's go. We take a look. Cinnamon is primarily developed for Linux Mint. I'm requiring the company, everyone needs to be running Linux Mint in the company. It provides better security than Windows, and it can integrate all of the applications that Windows utilizes and have a backup for there. So we click our download button. I hope I did click it. Did I? We'll know here in a second. Let's make sure. There we go. Something's going on here. Oh, okay. Verify the mirror. Where do you want to get it from? So one of the mirrors is a mirror is these are repositories that hold the core or those files. So we take a look, and you have to worry and watch these. We take a look, and University of Pittsburgh has been a pretty good one. I've done that before. This right here, I love UC Berkeley, so I'll go with them. Okay, they twisted my arm. So we see Linux Mint is downloading. Take a look. Make sure that you have the allocated space, because when you set up virtualization, you need to have enough RAM. You need to have enough storage space to provide that, and a good, fast broadband internet. So this is downloading. Looks like we have around 2 minutes left. While we're doing that, we take a look. Remember, Linux is open source. Feel free to donate. SHA-256, SHA, 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 integrity. Whenever you hear or see SHA-256, that is integrity. And that is a great, great, great and strong integrity that is provided. That is providing for the to make sure what you're downloading, you're getting everything, everything's included, and there's nothing that's been changed or altered. We have a bit. Let's take a look at that .iso. Whenever we have .this or .that, if you have a .jpeg, a .jpeg is a image. A .png is an image. If you have a .txt, that is a text file. If you have a .pdf, that is what that is. So that defines what everything is. The .iso is an image file. That is an operating system image file. So if I would have downloaded Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows Server, whatever I download as an operating system, it is an image. One of the clear things and one of the most basic principles that you have to understand is everything is just code. That's all it is. Everything is just code. And so you can copy code. If you write a letter or if you write code on a piece of paper, someone else can just copy the code from that piece of paper, right? In this case, the code is written digitally and is copied. Let's go open up this file. Actually, let's download it, and probably should have been using virtualization there. Let's download VirtualBox Linux Mint right there. Great. All right. So we have that there. Let's get back to our Oracle VirtualBox. We take a look at where our tools. Let's click this now. You're welcome. Extensions, media, network, cloud, activities. Now, we click on File, Machine, New. Notice that you can go through and with both, but you'll see the symbols are the same. So let's click on New. Now, when we click on New, we're going to type in the word. Now, a lot of times it will pick up on what you're typing in, and it'll change over. So you notice here, so when I first started, it didn't have a type. If we click on type, right, we can go through here. You can join a Windows, Linux, Solaris, IBM, Mac, OS X, and other operating systems. But you better be careful with Mac, so you don't want Apple suing you from there. So let's type in Linux, 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 space, Mint, ISO image. So let's get us our image. So we click other. Now we got to look for this image, right? So here we are. Notice our Linux operating system, the ISO, an ISO image, ISO. We click on there and we have our image. Taking a look. Notice that it said Ubuntu. Now, Ubuntu is the most popular Linux distro. Keep that in mind, Ubuntu. When going to school and all the time that I went to school, I was taught to use Ubuntu. Ubuntu works seamlessly with Linux Mint, and a lot of the backdrop from Linux Mint, or let's say the foundation or source code, will use Ubuntu. When you want to download different this and that for Linux Mint, Ubuntu it'll say which version you want, and then always choose Ubuntu with Linux Mint unless it has a specific Linux Mint. You use Ubuntu. All right, let's get to next. All right, username, VirtualBox user, password. Let's take a look at these passwords. Change me, change me. Remember the password. Domain, myguest.virtualbox.org. We look at what we have. You see a product key. Windows definitely uses those, and sometimes you can download Windows, use them for a little bit. I will do that to provide demonstrations, and I will definitely do a Oracle box for Windows. Guest editions, different things. You have a host of different stuff that you can do. Why do you have me here? Why that maybe that makes me a lot of times it wants the word to be together. There we go. Now, Linux is case sensitive. Linux is incredibly, that's one of the things, even though this is an open source system that everyone can do this and that, it is the most secure operating system because the people who work on Linux around the world love it. You have some professor who has spent 30 years and they think the internet should be free and these um, aspects, and so they work diligently to make it safe. They're always working on it 24/7. Different people in the Linux organization are working on it. So let's hit next. Now we will allocate. Remember, this is a virtual system. We are giving it space and what we want to provide for. So how about I can drag it over here. Base memory, 2 gigs. Where we're doing demonstrate. Well, I better make it a little bit bigger because I'll probably go into some Kali Linux. CPU. Let me go. That'll do that right there. And I will use my other computer that can do multiple VirtualBox and provide demonstrations on there. So we hit next and our storage space. So we look how much hard drive. So we are giving this you can give it up to 2 terabytes. So we're giving 25 gigs, which is more than enough. Use an empty virtual hard disk drive? No, that will be no. Let's take a look at what we have here. And let's hit finish. Voila, magic. Can't run guest install. Well, that's fine because we don't want to run that. What we want to do is, since it's clicked. Now, notice that this is here. As I downloaded the Linux Mint, I could download another operating system, do the same thing. I can have Linux Mint, Ubuntu, Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows Server. And as much as the computer that you're utilizing can handle, you can have as many operating systems as it can handle. And you can run as many if you have that. This other laptop I have, that's why I can have multiple operating systems and I can have Linux Mint, have a virtual switch connected to that operating system. And even though they are on the same computer, they are separated. It's as if that computer is on the other side of the world or somewhere else and it's just plugged in through a network connection. Virtualization. Containeration will be something they'll explain also. So we should be able to hit start and get our system running, powering up the VM. The virtual failed to boot, mount and retry. If we have that, sometimes what we have to do is, let me X out. X out of If we have that, click other, download some. There we go. There we go, right there. Now I'm going to expand the window. Let's expand. This is Linux Mint install. Now, older computers, what I do is I have a computer here that's 15 years old, a few others. I have to pick up this other one too. I'll just put Linux Mint on there. That way, the life of the computer still goes. So we'll hear this. These are if you wanted to be able to connect, because when you're in virtualization, this is separate from your host computer. Your host computer is this computer. Let's take a look, and password change, scanning. So we can get out of this right here. This is if we want to be able to make the host computer be able to do the same thing. Taking a look. The kernel. You see that word kernel there? The kernel means the core file. Kernel is the core file. Kernel is the core file. Let it go through the installations to set this up. One of the great things that has been of great progress is the last 30 years of the automation of putting things, because there was a lot of manual, do this, then when this finished, do this and do this. I mean, we have a slight bit of it now, but as you see how all these different things just start loading and going through on their own. Now, let me move this out of the way here. Let's get let's find the cursor. I'm going to move this a little bit out of the way, because we take a look here, right? The disk is working. We have the things working, but if you look, all of these are the virtual connections, the network. So let our system load. But everything that a conventional physical computer does, the virtualization does that in a virtual sense, and it's using portions of the actual physical computer to do it, and then producing its own values as far as the system needs to run. Connection established. Now, how is this virtual machine has this connection that is here? Now you can install this, you can click the install button, and what you have the option to do, you can partition your hard drive and run Linux Mint and have that, or you can just fully install it. I'm just going through here. This is Linux Mint. As I said, if you didn't know that I love Linux Mint, connect it, because it's using the actual physical connection that the computer has. If you'll look, this connection is actually wireless. We'll go through. Let's take a look at Linux Mint. Well, we have the all the applications we can download and drop and go through. Accessories, graphics, the internet. Firefox is native to there. Thunderbird Mail now has the charges and so forth. Office. So now Linux uses what's called Libre. Libre is the free version of Microsoft Office, because Microsoft Office costs money. You can do all the different things that you would do there. Sound and video, admin, boot repair, install, the different things, preferences, places, recent files. Now, what we need always, what you do always, is when you install anything, or one of the most important things is updates. So let's click on terminal. Terminal is like command line and so forth. So we have our mint at int. So we go through. So what we're going to type in is sudo, SDO, space, apt dash get. Let's stop there, because this is a command that you will use a lot on Linux to install, remove, repair, add this, put features, etc. Now we're going to get space. Now sudo space. In programming is very important in space. Sometimes I had students, they would go and they would buy these kits or these learning sessions or go get this and that. I want to learn here. The most important thing is to pay attention because you can go and get all these different things and still mess up. It's like if you are on command line, you type ipconfig all instead of ipconfig space ipconfig space slash all. Now, on some of the simulators, you'll type in ipconfig slash all, and then it'll tell you that you're correct. But when you get ready to go take your certification exams or you're doing it in real life, you didn't put a space there and you don't know any better and you got it wrong. Sudo. Sudo means that you are in charge, you're in control. So that is the like at Windows has admin, Linux has sudo. Sudo apt get. Apt get what? Well, in this case, we want updates. So let's type in updates. Well, I just type in update. Let's click. And we take a look. Look at that working there. Look how fast that is going. Remember, milliseconds is slow to a computer. There are 1,000 milliseconds in 1 second. Computers move and go, and they can do so many things so fast. One of the obstacles when learning about computer systems is humans sometimes can't think beyond themselves and they don't understand how fast a computer can go. Just as if I ping something from here, I'm in Colorado, and I ping Google. You can send 4 packets to Google and it'll come back within milliseconds. So now we take a look as what the updates have gone. Let's start off. Again, our sudo apt get app dash get space update. We look, we go through. Updating probably can't be done securely, and therefore, because the Linux Mint hasn't been fully established on the computer, hasn't been downloading. So using like a shell type of version, not the shell as shell in most computer systems, but just an abject part. It hasn't been planted into the into the system. So we take a look and we go. So when you do that, you'll secure things. What did I speak of before? Notice that Ubuntu, that is built on there. So we got our updates working, right? So let us get out there. We have our Linux, and just like anything else, let us go to internet. Let's go. We are connected, huh? Yes, we are. Our volume, our sound is on 40. As you'll see, the network symbol, the network settings is connected to this network settings. We love keeping you safe. Oh, that is just so wonderful. Nope. Unclick that. When you work on computer systems as an IT professional, there will be things that are always preset. I know we get tired, we're working on our jobs, but we have to take a look at that. Some things will, one technician went to something and it says, send a copy of all information to this server. They were like, well, I do this 24/7 all the time. And they clicked that and secret proprietary stuff was being sent to a third party. So always pay attention. Laziness is one of the main issues. And one of the things that I always teach about is intellectual laziness. People are just don't want to think. Let's start browsing. All right, we're browsing. Let's do an Xfinity speed test. So Xfinity speed test, we'll click on it. Let's take a look and see how fast we're going. Because remember, it's going through this laptop and then it's connected to a virtual NIC. So there are different layers that it's going. And this virtual system is completely separate from the physical computer. We click on Xfinity speed test. Let's click on the test. Let's take a look at our speed. And we're off. 18, 35, 37, 43, 62, 76, 80, 73. Those are good speeds. You can play your video games and do this and that. May not have speedy downloads, but this is a good speed. It's good. It'll work. Has your system. So now we have all of this that is going. Let's take a look at another piece in here. Graphics. I wanted to get back on the Libre. Where are you, Libre? Administration, preferences, places. Office. Here we go. So let's go to Libre Office. Remember, these are open source. People are always making it work and be better, and you can save the files too. So we go to Office, and we go to Office. We take a look. Look at what we have here. I know you're awesomely impressed. So don't get beside yourself. Writer document. And guess what? That looks closely familiar to what? Drum roll. Microsoft Word, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Exclamation point. Let's put a whole bunch of them there. So we have that, right? And look at this. Just like Microsoft Word, yes, you can save and do this. So let's go into what we want to save it. We can save it in my documents, downloads as we have that. And the ODF and the ODT can work on Microsoft Word and Windows, but we have the different things. Now, remember we talked about dot this, dot that? So this can be, let's type in test dot JPEG. Now, let's go into our file system and did I take documents or, there we go, JPEG, the ODP, I probably had to take that out. Let's take a look here at the properties. Kind of file, still the ODP, I should have marked that out and have that, but just for the sake of learning, your Office documents and our can go there. Calculated as draw. So this is just like Microsoft Paint. Notice the similarities. Your printer, it'll connect. It can go through there. It can. As a matter of fact, let me take a look at something here just to see if it auto configured my printer. Sometimes this will do that. All right. No, you have to add the printer. But as you see, these are free operations with Linux. And it's one of the reasons the popularity with Linux is so prevalent, especially overseas and outside of the United States, because here we're used to paying and do this, but you can do all types of different things with this. Python, let's take a look. Did it install Python? If not, you can, because Python is normally, a second, Python is native to Linux. And you can go through, so I don't think it has there. But what you can do is you can go right into a terminal and you can put Python in there. Those will be other lessons when I start teaching Python and other programming languages. All right, let's minimize, get back to it, and we take a look at some of the other stuff. Hey, just wait till you see some of the backgrounds. There we go. You don't have to have the dark, gloomy October background. We have different, and then you can go take a look at what you want. How about this right here? This is my Bob Ross voice. We look at what we can have. There are some cool backgrounds and stuff. Well, I guess they're cool to me. And yeah, it gets a little mechanical and starts looking like the Borg from Star Trek, but it is still, you have instant backgrounds that you can utilize. Or you can just put your own. You can go into your pictures and whatever you want and have that on there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you download Linux Mint onto Oracle VirtualBox and how you install Oracle VirtualBox. Thank you. Look forward to the next lesson.